Hi, I'm Dixie. I have a story to tell you about my daughter Holly. Join me.
And I'm going to join you too, Dixie. Hi, it's been a while since I've seen you and Holly and John.
Hi, Johnny. It's so great to be here.
Yeah, it's a pleasure for me in so many ways. I read the book. This is your second writing of this book about Holly, and she got married about 17 years ago now. I'm amazed how time flies, and I recorded that ceremony, and it was absolutely wonderful.
It was stunning. You did a stunning job.
Thank you.
Viewing your wedding.
Thank you so much. Tell us about Holly.
I have a great story to tell about Holly. In the beginning, it didn't feel so great, because in the beginning, after giving birth to Holly, the doctor comes in and tells me, you have a mongoloid baby. Not only that, she's probably going to be a vegetable, and I don't know if I could take her home. The cardiologist chimes in. She has a heart disease, a hole in her heart, and I don't know if I could take her home. You might want to go to Sonoma State Hospital. And of course, I am in shock, and it doesn't take long to become someone who is in a sea of guilt, is in a sea of despair, looking at the future. Didn't look too bright. I did take the doctor up on it, and I did go visit Sonoma State Hospital, and that helped me a lot in the sense that there's no way I was going to put my baby in Sonoma State Hospital.
Sonoma State Hospital, we're in California.
Right.
So Sonoma State Hospital, we're conducting this interview in San Rafael, about 15 minutes outside of San Francisco. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, we're listening.
Thank you, Johnny. And I saw all these babies laying on baby blankets with a big TV screen shining on them, thinking, I can do better than that. I know very little of what to do with a baby that is so full of challenges, but I know I can do better than what I saw. So we did take her home, and I said, BJ, my husband, we've got to start right away telling people, owning it, and we're going to change our view about these circumstances that we are under, and instead of looking at the circumstances that are the worst, we're going to turn it around and say, what are the best of these circumstances? Look at what we have. We have an opportunity. We have a chance to do something really special with this baby of ours.
In your book, you talked about changing the outlook, which can change the outcome. And it seems to me at that moment, or did it take you some time to come to that conclusion that I am going to take my baby home, and I am going to be the one, we are going to be the ones to change the outlook. Mm-hmm. How did you come to that?
One was visiting Sonoma State Hospital, which I would not want. And the second, after sitting in my rocking chair and rocking her and sometimes patting her a little too hard on the back and taking her little face and staring at it, I said, I need to get away a little bit. And I hired a babysitter, and I would go out walking for 30 minutes. And when you walk, you're moving, I'm getting endorphins, yes, and I'm planning, yes, and I'm thinking, and I'm feeling, I can do this. So as I got stronger and feeling, we're going to be okay. We're going to be okay, Holly. And my walking led into meeting some great people. I joined race walking, and I ended up, as Holly made milestones, I set milestones for me. She was doing so, very slowly. Like she didn't walk until she was 3, but she walked, and some people would question me,
great.
Do you think she'll ever walk? And I had never doubted. Of course she's going to walk. And I ended up walking 26 marathons. So I really grew as Holly grew. And every milestone she took, I said, I'm going to do another milestone to match Holly, because she tries so hard and everything takes so long. I can be better too. And so I ended up swimming from Alcatraz. I took lessons and swam in the water with my wonderful sister. And
Yeah, we're looking at the water here. I can only imagine. I can't imagine being in that cold water. Go ahead, we're listening.
it was
Go
cold,
ahead.
but I thought about Holly. I really did a lot of thinking about Holly. She's trying her best. Mom, you get out there and you try your best. And
Mount Kilimanjaro, you climbed
did.
that 9 times?
Kilimanjaro once, but I swam from Alcatraz 10 times.
10 times. And bodybuilding, all of that. And all because of Holly, who she was,
Yeah.
what she was about. Explain mongoloid, Down syndrome. What are
Right,
the
at
challenges? And explain that to us, please.
In the 70s, we really had a poor mainstream of science. One, calling babies mongoloids, offering, take your baby to Sonoma State Hospital, perhaps that's what you want. Offering that, we don't do that anymore. And thank goodness, a lot of us mothers, we didn't take the advice that was given to us, or the suggestions that were given to us in the 70s. I quickly learned that Dr. Down invented or came across what makes a baby of having what they used to call mongoloid, Down syndrome. It's a syndrome that includes a chromosome abnormality, where instead of 2 chromosomes of number 21, there's 3. And there's a trisomy 21, which is another name for Down syndrome. So we gave birth to a Down syndrome baby. And I would write that in my baby announcements. She has Down syndrome, but we're going to do the best we can. And I know my mother told me you've got to give her away, Dixie. She's always going to be a problem to you. And I thought, gosh, my mother is telling me this. But I knew as a mother, all she was doing was trying to protect me, as I now was trying to protect Holly. So again, I embraced her, I integrated her into everything. I started out putting her in cooperative nursery school. That was never done then. I'd have the instructors and the mother saying, "Why do you want your baby here?" And I would say, "Why do you want your baby here?" The same things. I want her to learn. I want her to see other babies reaching out. I want her to see them smile. Because your babies can teach my baby, who's just a little slower, but she's going to learn. And she did learn. She learned to take the bus. She learned to take the bus to Special Olympics when she was about 10. And I had a number. If she can do this 10 times in a row, I'm backing behind her in the car, making sure all is well, then I knew she had it. She learned it. And she did track and field, and she did gymnastics, and she did swimming. And she became a Girl Scout. She wore the cute little uniform, and she went to Girl Scout camp just like all the other Girl Scouts. She was just a regular little girl to me. After a while, I thought, gosh, I should have learned this at the beginning. Just treat your baby like a baby.
And I'm wondering what the other children learned from Holly. I'm sure they learned things, not just she from them. Talk to us about some of the things and what you learned when there were times when you were depressed or maybe
she was the best teacher
lost
to
your
me,
confidence.
Johnny.
Yes,
she was the best teacher to me. And like the Girl Scouts, they knew something was special with Holly. And it brought out their goodness, their kindness, what a Girl Scout is all about.
Yeah.
And they'd help her and they'd hold her hand. And I explained to them, and the driver of the bus taking all of them, I said, Holly needs some help, but all of you Girl Scouts, that's what Girl Scouting is about, isn't it? It's helping others. So I'm sure you'll see that Holly needs some help. And when you see that, just go up and say, "Can I help you, Holly? Let me take your hand." So they learned a lot. And when I went back to school to become a special ed teacher, and of course it was all motivated by Holly, I found she was my best teacher. And I did pretty well in classes because I had a real special teacher teaching me to be a special education teacher. And then I got a master's in exceptional children, and that has benefited me.
And what about relationships? She met a young man with Downs
sure
as well. John, an extraordinary young man.
An extraordinary young man.
A world champion weightlifter. Talk to us about John and Holly and how she met John and how that relationship came about.
Well, I had her in the gym because I was going to the gym. And I had her with some instructors, some of the best at Fitness SF. And John happened to have a little job working at the gym. And his job was to show people around, help them work the machines. And he himself was really buff. And his coach, Homie, was training and working with him to do bodybuilding competitions. And I saw him train, and I saw him on the schedule of how to eat and train. And I said to myself, and this was the guy that had proposed. I want to step up there. He had proposed to my daughter already. And I said, well, I've got to get to know this Johnny.
Absolutely.
He's going to marry my daughter. So I started having John train me. And I thought, I wonder if I could be as responsible and dedicated to maybe commit myself to a competition, an amateur physical competition. It was Miss Figure and Miss Physical competition. And I thought, I'm going to try. So I had John Shapiro train me. And I went and competed, and I actually won trophies.
You won more than a few titles.
So it was exciting.
Yes.
And again, it's because I wanted to get to know him, and I wanted to just try, again, something brand new. Because as I said, if I get stronger and more confident, so does my daughter. So I can't emphasize enough about getting out and moving. And along the way, as if you read my book, you'll see the challenges that came with marriage, that came to be stressful, and some that were very health oriented, into being drastic. And how did we fix it? So it came from some challenges to her growing and being involved in all kinds of regular activities as any daughter. We even went to Down syndrome conferences, and Holly was a speaker.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. We went as young couples right at her birth to learn. And here it's now turned around, and Holly is doing the teaching. And I thought, how cool is that?
Right, it is cool. And the book is also about not just for people, mothers and fathers and families, with families, a child or children with challenges, but parenting. All of the things you talk about in the book will work for parents, for any child, any family. Tell us about that.
I really believe that, because all children need boundaries. If Holly wanted to crawl up on the table and swing from a chandelier, Holly, this is where we play. This is where we play. I know it, that's pretty, but this is where we play. So, just take her down and put her on the floor and say, all right. And I made baby blankets for textures, so she would have all kinds of textures to roll on and not be defensive about anything. We put boundaries on our kids. We put expectations. We put hope into all children, no matter if they're autistic or Down syndrome. And I want to share with you a couple of things of how, at age 32, for example, I was taping her conversations, her messages to me. And I want to share with you how she was speaking. Hello, Mom. I know you're not home. I'm stuck here at the buses. I need someone to take me home. So I'm at Sanderfeld bus stop. Here's another one. Hello, Mom. If you don't come in, I'll be your leader. I was a Weight Watcher leader for a while, and she was in my class. Everyone showed up for goal weights. We're all waiting for you. I learned for her, I must be more on time.
And more responsible. Go ahead.
My daughter,
Go ahead.
She got an award in a Goodwill as she worked for 27 years, a reward as one of the best employees for always showing up on time. So here I am learning from her. Hurry up before I become your leader. I like that. And happy Mother's Day, Mommy. I love you. I know you're not home. You tell Grandma, because I had driven off to visit my mom. You tell Grandma I love her. And if you have time, I'll do a finger prick. That resounds with her diabetes, and she was taking her own finger pricks to kick the glucose numbers. I love you, Mother dear. Thanks for everything. And you know what? She has compassion, as our children should have compassion, and wisdom. She had such wisdom. And especially I say that with emphasis because she has Down syndrome. They're not expected to be wise. But you know what?
Wow.
We can never underestimate any child or any person.
Yes.
We should never underestimate.
You're right.
And doctors can be wrong.
Sure.
So go with the end result. What do you want for your child?
Yes.
Here's something I want you to hear. I was talking to Holly about when she was a baby, and she said to me, "That was the first time I ever met you, Mom." I needed a babysitter for her when I wanted to attend a meeting. Holly said, "Well, you could take me with you, Mom." And that's just what I did. And the last one, Holly asked me, "Why do I have Down syndrome and Adam doesn't?" Adam is her brother, 2 years younger. And I said, "Well, I don't know. It just happened. And so what?" I almost named my book, "So What?" Because there's so many things we could talk about that happened, and I can say, so what?
So what? Why don't we meet Holly and John?
Let's meet Holly. I want you to meet my incredible daughter. I want to thank Phyllis Abadi. We're in her beautiful yard, her home, and she's been serving hot chocolate to Holly and John while I've been telling my story. So now, here's my daughter and her husband. Actually, it's a commitment partner. We did a commitment ceremony. And, hi, Holly.
Hi. This is my husband. He always there for me. He rescued me in my apartment. Ever since I met him, keep you, hug me. He always hug me.
He always holds you.
I love but my partner ever met the kid middle school.
You met him at Kent Middle School?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And also author of the book, Actual Love is selling.
I know, you said you're the author of our book. That's right. We wrote this together, obviously, inspired by Holly. John, tell us a little bit about yourself.
My job, I tell my wife I look beautiful, and my life is I feel good and get me and my honey and wonderful wife and hold, and I will marry you again for two.
So you're saying you're a happily married man?
I'm a married man. No, I don't.
Holly, do you feel you're a happily married woman?
Yes, I like it to have the people come in and have support. And also Girl Scouts.
Yes, you've been a Girl Scout. And working, you're right. So you'd marry John all over again? Yeah. Or have him as a commitment partner all over again?
Yeah.
What's the best thing about having someone to live with, like John?
And Bill, my landlord.
And Jill?
So he owned landlord.
Yeah, Jill's the landlord, right.
Yeah, he left
now. What makes you happy?
Make me happy. He rescued me.
He rescued you? You lived in your own apartment for 10 years and you think he rescued you from being in the apartment?
Yeah.
But What words do you want to say to John?
I always love you. Me.
I think that's a
Commitment. Vows.
okay.
And especially for me. And I have people a lot.
John, what's the best word you want to say and leave this story that we're having today? What do you want to say to Holly?
And I say, I love Holly very much in my heart and in my true love. And she is the best wife in the whole world. Having you my real woman.
What do you think of that? What do you think of that, Holly? You like that?
Yeah. Commitment.
Thank you.